Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Aquamate Experience. I hope you're all doing well. I I stupidly scheduled this for 12 hours time. I forgot to press the AM button on my side. So I realized about 25 minutes ago, the no notifications gone out. So this time it wasn't YouTube being a bit slack. It was me. So I apologize about that. So thank you, everyone here. Suzy's here. That's going to be helpful later on. Dan's Fish Room. How are you? Anthony Fishy Friends. Scott, King and Queen Cichlids. Punchy, Pam, how are you? Now, Jill, Dad, how are you, Dad? So in this series, for those that haven't seen the start of one of these videos or haven't seen any of these videos, GRB, how you going? Basically, we talk to someone in the fish keeping industry or a fish tuber, YouTuber, and sort of go back down memory lane and just see where it all began, why they do what they do, and just see their unique perspective on the fish keeping hobby. So I'm really happy that Suzy's decided to join us. So I will introduce her by saying, "Hey everybody, it's Suzy Q." I knew I'd start this up. I forgot the words all of a sudden. I've been singing that all morning going, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this.
That is so awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
I that is all
I looked over and saw you and went, oh, no. I've lost it now. How are you?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing?
Not bad. Not bad. It's been a bit of a whirlwind morning. Didn't help me realizing that I'd scheduled it for 12 hours.
So for me, it's Friday night, and it's a good night that I'm allowed to drink coffee at night because I don't have to wake up tomorrow. Well, I have to wake up, but there's no time requirement.
No. Well, that's sort of fine that kind of works with it's Saturday morning here, the future. That it's at 8 o'clock your time, is it?
It is.
It's 10 a.m. my time.
Oh,
so
wow.
This is one of the things, like you do a weekly live stream on Monday morning my time, so Sunday night your time. And it's like just as I'm going to work. So I usually try and jump in, say hello. I get about 5 minutes, and then I've got to do things that I'm getting paid to do. Oh, Scott, singing lessons. Thank you.
Oh, Scott, you're awesome.
God, I'll work on it. I'll do another version soon.
I thought it was awesome.
Where did you come up with that song? Just relaxing, thinking?
Well, I have 4 kids, 4 daughters, and they're all grown now, but we watched a lot of Sharon, Lois, and Bram and musical, children's TV shows. And when I got a YouTube channel, I always wanted a theme song. I want a theme song to go on when I walk into work, so... And I was coming up with some words, and I was setting up a turtle tank in somebody's business. And my daughter happened to walk in, and I told her what I was trying to do. Now, the camera was rolling because I was filming the turtle tank. And I started singing it. She started singing it. I stopped. She kept going. That was it. I kept it.
That's awesome. A collaboration. I love it.
Yep.
So with the series I was saying before, we go down memory lane. Take me back to where keeping fish, or even keeping your reptiles as well, where it all sort of began for you.
Wow. So like I said, I've got 4 kids. So my whole life has been pets, but not ever a fish tank. But we had lots of pets, iguanas and chinchillas and just all different kinds of cats, dogs. Never had a bird until now. And my granddaughter was turning 2, and I wanted to get her something that I thought we could do together. So I thought, let's get a fish tank. So that was 3 years ago is when I started fish keeping.
That's crazy. 3 years ago. And how many tanks do you have now?
I have I have 50 tanks, but
50.
6 or 7 of them are empty because I'm summer breeding outside. I have 6 summer tubs and a 2,000-gallon pond.
You know the fish are meant to breed, not the tanks. You're meant to multiply them.
Yeah.
So what did you keep in that first fish tank with your daughter?
Well, I wanted guppies. So I went to the fish store and I said, my granddaughter's birthday's tomorrow. Can I have some guppies for a tank? And he said, when did you set it up? I said, I just set it up today. He said, it doesn't work that way. And I was like, huh? So I ended up taking home Daniels because he told me they might survive the torture I was about to put them through. And I learned the hard way what a nitrogen cycle was. And I will never, ever again do a fish-in cycle. Let me tell you, I changed the water like every day. The cycle took like 3 months to cycle because I changed the water every day because I thought I was torturing fish. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I won't do that again. But I learned.
Yeah, well, it's funny as well. Like, even after 50 tanks, it can still come back and bite you. Like, I've been keeping fish for on and off for like 25 years or whatever.
Wow.
And having multiple tanks, I've sort of forgotten what it's like to just go completely brand new, setting up a brand new tank, everything new and shiny. Because having multiple tanks, I've usually just grabbed things from one tank and moved them into the next tank and sort of just replicate that tank and have a similar, beneficial bacteria in the new tank. So to say that, it's good. It's a good thing that I think I forget a lot, and I think a lot of people might forget when you have that many tanks. You got to start with some of the basics, don't you?
Exactly, because at that time I did not know one fish keeper. I didn't know what beneficial bacteria was, let alone ask somebody for some.
So you started with the Danios. So paint the picture for us. What was the tank? Was it just like a little 10-gallon, 5-gallon?
20-gallon tank. And before this time, I make dollhouse furniture. I make dollhouse usually for adults. And because I had so many kids, I started putting them in fish tanks. I would get them at flea markets so that fingers would stay out of the dollhouses. And so I had lots of fish tanks anyway. So I figured, so that's it. Started with a 20-gallon. I decorated it like a child would aquascape, because it kind of looked like a miniature setting, like not like a nice landscaping miniature setting, but the house, the driveway, the swings.
That sounds cool.
And it was pretty interesting. I learned so much. I was probably at that fish store every day for maybe 6 weeks because things just kept going wrong. Like I put my fingers in the tank and it was so hot it almost burned. Apparently the heater that I got just kept going. So they replaced the heater for me and the Danios did fine. Wow. Talk about hardy fish. Actually, the last Daniel from 3 years ago just passed away.
Gee, that's crazy. I thought when you said, I learned my lesson, that you lost them. So,
oh, no, I didn't lose them. I learned my lesson because I did water change every day. Oh, my God.
It's hard.
Yes.
All right. So that's where it sort of began. But what made you sort of go, you know what, I want to get more. I want to do another tank and I want to try different.
Since this is going to take a while now, keep in mind now for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I was in the fish store all the time. And I figure if it's this hard and it takes this long, I might as well start another one. And then meanwhile, I'm watching YouTube, starting to learn. I wasn't even really into YouTube that much, but I started learning what everything was. So I got this old used 50-gallon. It's like an old Odell. It was more like a 40-gallon breeder, but larger. And it wasn't like the long, skinny 55-gallon. And I figured, let me start that because I used to watch John from KG Tropical all the time. So I wanted these cichlids. I don't even know what a cichlid was, but I wanted cichlids because he looked like he had every color in the world. And so I knew I would have to quarantine. So I set up 2 other tanks. So then I set up a 29-gallon and the 50-gallon. And then I loved the mollies so I had to get another tank because I couldn't mix them in with the cichlids. And then it just kept going on. Yeah.
So very impulsive.
I'm also a recovering alcoholic and drug addict of 25 years. So
Yes.
yes, I'm very impulsive and very compulsive.
No, well done with that. I suppose that's it. It's another hobby, another addiction.
Yeah.
So you started off with a small tank for Danios,
Mhm.
and now you have a fish room under your house in your basement. Yes.
Well, yes, because it's so fascinating. It took me several years, but it went from, oh, pretty yellow and green and, fish to understanding where these fish come from, understanding habitats, how did they get into the hobby? So the more I learned, the more I wanted. And then I was introduced to the CARES program and the CARES fish. Well, I have to have a dedicated tank for CARES fish. And,
Tell me a bit about the CARES program. I know I've heard Scott talk about that before and a couple other people. And I did look it up, but I sort of went, I don't know. I'm trying to relate a lot of the things that happen in America with the hobby to what's going on here. And I can't think of a similar program over here.
So I can explain it in my language. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form, but there's fish that are endangered or extinct or going extinct. They have these levels, like, hot to cold, like there's none left to this and this. And the whole idea is to dedicate a fish tank, if not several, into breeding colonies. So you have colonies. So like there's some experts out there that I think it happened once. I think his name was Dr. Of course, I don't know his name, but he wanted to reintroduce them into the wild. So he reached out to the hobby to who had these. So right now I'm keeping these. They're like yellow convicts, and they're almost extinct in the wild. So I am breeding them, and I'm going to dedicate this tank. And then once the colony gets too big, I'll probably split the tank once I get large enough juveniles. I know there's people in the hobby that want them. The only thing I'm going to ask when I give them the fry is that you dedicate a tank to it. It's not a community fish. You got to dedicate a tank just in case at some point somebody wants to put them back into the wild or rejuvenate. We'll be out there and have it. That's my best way. And I know it's probably so much more, and I probably butchered that, but that's what I know of it.
No, it's good though, because yes, it sounds like a big, well, it's not like an organization, but like there's a lot of backing sounds like from behind it. But from your point of view and your perspective of being involved in it, that's what it takes to be a part of it, which that's really cool. I don't really know of any of that. We have one of my favorite fish down here is the honey blue eyes pseudomogals.
Oh, yes.
Very hard to find. They're illegal over there, apparently, because they're endangered here. And I found some. And I got 4, and I put them in a tank. And I was like, this is good. And then I lost 2.
Oh.
And then I freaked out, so I just moved them out of the tank. And I went, something's not right. Put them in another tank. So I ended up having to put them in a community tank. And they lived for a while there, but then eventually I lost them again. So it's a hard one as well because I don't know what their lifespan is, and I think it's like 1 or 2 years. Mm-hmm. Give that girl a cigar. Well done, Q.
Oh, did I do it? Good. Thank you. Who said that? Oh,
thanks,
Scott. Oh, that even means like, wow. Thank you, Scott. Let me tell you, I happen to think Australia has some of the most amazing fish, the most amazing birds, my favorite reptiles. Like, you guys have all of it.
Have you ever been here?
You don't export any of it.
Have you ever been here?
No, I would love to. Oh my gosh, that's a dream. That's a dream. But I will not come when it's 1 degree out.
No, well, yes, where I live, it's very funny. So I'm in a valley, and in winter, it's always a couple degrees colder in the valley in the morning, but it gets warmer than everywhere else in the middle of the day. So same in summer. In summer, it's always hotter here. So I don't know.
And what months are your summer?
December, January, February.
Wow. See, that sounds like the perfect time to come to Australia.
Exactly. Well, it's winter over there, isn't it? You're like, get away from this cold.
Oh, the cold and the wind and the snow.
I'll just quickly say hello. A whole bunch of people come in, and I'm not ignoring you. I see you there. Madfish Diva, how are you? Have you got your stickers yet? Total Tropicals, Alice, Hattrick Bum, Rose Aquatics, Rob93, Moonstone Aquatics, how are you? Oddball, Haley, how you doing? Dan's Fish Room, Sickless23. I think I've got everyone there. How are you all? I hope you're all well. I'll ask you. Did I end up sending you stickers?
I looked on my sticker wall and I don't have any.
No, I did. I sent you stickers and Vegemite, but I don't think it ever got there.
Yeah, I know, because I would have done a video on it.
I came up with this really great idea and sent people a couple Aquamate stickers and a little sachet of Vegemite. And half of them made it, half of them didn't make it. And if you ever talk to Rob93, I wrecked his mail because all his mail just had Vegemite all over it because someone squashed it.
That's funny. No, I looked at my stickers just to see, and because I was going to have it, I was going to sport it right back here. I'm like, Dad.
No, I just realized because when we were chatting on our Messenger, I was like, pretty sure. Yes, I did. I sent them. Good.
Drew, did you participate in that Fish Mists card exchange?
I was going to, but then I didn't in the end because I think there's like 20 or 30 people and they're all pretty much in America. Yeah. And I went, you know what? This time of year, why am I adding another thing to the list? That's, right. I put a little video out saying Merry Christmas to everybody, but no, I didn't.
If you ever want to do that, I have a macaw, so I have to, if you hear me muted, it's because she's yelling. But if ever you wanted to try it, you can throw them all in one package and send them to me, and I would disperse them for you. That would save on a lot of postage.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I did. I was talking to Rack, and yeah, he was telling me about the stickers that he's sort of become a bit of a collection point for stickers for everybody. So I need to send him a bunch as well.
Oh, Rack is awesome.
I like that idea.
Yep. I get so much inspiration from watching. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Rack River Life, you got to check it out because he's got this unique way of fish tubing it's very artistic, it's very creative, it's very off the beaten path, which I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes, no, definitely. What's going on over there?
It's my bird. Do you want to see her?
Yep.
Hanging upside down, being a clown. That's Sophie. She's just a 5-year-old mini macaw, and I've only had her maybe 8 months, so we're still building trust with each other. And she's like a 5-year-old with a 2-year-old temperament. So whenever I get on the phone, she wants my attention. I'm talking to you. If I start laughing or get loud, she'll think we're yelling and get loud too. So every once in a while, I just have to hit the mute because she gets very loud and she loves bells.
Is this the first bird you've kept?
Yes.
That's exciting.
And I am in love with her. Like I sing to her morning, noon, and night. Oh my gosh, I love it. And would I love another one? Yeah. And John says, absolutely not. And you can understand his concern because I went from a fish tank to 50. I went from a bearded dragon to, I think, 35 enclosures. So I could see why,
Sounds like it's going to become a jungle.
I would love that. Well, I call it the Q Zoo. I'd be fine with that.
You've thought about this already.
It'd be like a rescue, but I never would give any of the animals away. I would just take them.
I had a pet galah when I was little.
Oh, that's my dream bird.
It was pretty cool, but now I sort of look back on it and go, he probably wasn't really fair. I don't know how it came about. A friend of my mum's had him, and they moved. So I lived down in Victoria, southern Australia, right near the bottom, and they moved up to Queensland, up near the top, and they couldn't take the galah with them.
Oh.
So I don't know why Mum said yes, because it's not normally the sort of thing she would do, but we adopted it basically. And he was in a cage, probably similar size to that, at the front of our house at the doorway. And we had a weatherboard house, so he was just eating the wood all the time. Yeah. We had to get a metal thing to put on the wood, stop him doing. And he liked to dance. He liked to just do this all the time.
Yeah.
And a couple of the kids up the road thought it was the funniest thing ever when he did it. And he would squawk and go nuts when he was doing it. And we'd be like sitting inside, and all of a sudden the bird's going crazy. Like, what's happening? And walk out the front, and the kids are there just dancing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Then we had to move, and we actually ended up passing him on to someone else. So I can't remember, but I think they have like an extremely long lifespan.
I think it's between 80 and 100 years. Correct?
I was going to say 100, and then I went, I don't know. Is it 100? But yeah.
The galah is my dream bird. If I could rescue a galah that nobody wants, I'd be happy. I don't care what the temperament is. Everybody keeps telling me to get a baby bird, so that I can bring it. But I think there's so many parrots out there that don't have homes. Somebody said something about they have a lot of dander, though.
A lot of what? Sorry?
Dander, like a lot of flaky white stuff that just comes off of them. I'm like,
I don't know. I can't remember that. I can't remember it.
Interesting.
Scott has brought something up that I was going to just ask you about this as well. But before we ask you about it, you have a YouTube channel that has just hit 3,000 subscribers. So congratulations.
Thank you. And thank everybody out there. Oh my gosh, I can't even get over that.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing to me.
That's amazing. It's an amazing effort. It's someone that does YouTube videos and stuff. I understand how hard it can be to get that many people, but also I can understand why that many people are interested in what you're doing. So well done.
That's nice. Thank you.
What that brings me to is you've started getting more fish tanks. What made you decide, you know what, I'm going to pick a camera up and I'm going to start documenting this and sharing it with the world?
So my fiance got me for Christmas a 125-gallon tank. And I thought, what? Like, I just wanted to document, because to me, this was it's humongous to me. Like, to me, it's massive, monster tank. But I know to people out there, it's like not. But, and I thought, I want to document this. I want to understand, what am I doing? Because up to that point, and I think it had been 5 or 6 months, I've had successes and failures, and I couldn't quite figure out why this was working and this wasn't. Like, so I just wanted to start documenting my hobby, because at this point I've been obsessively watching YouTube people to figure out, what am I doing wrong? How do I cycle a tank? Why, when I change the water, do my fish die? Like, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to document my journey, which was hard because I knew nothing of what I was saying. But this is what I'm doing because I heard people say it on the internet, you know?
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to start somewhere. What was the first video about?
Trying to find room for a 125-gallon tank. I had to move the couch and everything, so then we set it up. And then the next video was, it had a dry sump underneath it. This is the actual aquarium, but now it's got my Oscar in it. And then trying to figure out how to get water from the bottom to the top, because apparently the pump that I had wasn't strong enough. I thought it was just, I was doing something wrong. So it was going through all that. And then filling it up with the water, and the driftwood was floating. It floated for like 8 months. So that was a video. And then all of a sudden my whole tank turned cloudy. Well, it was a bacteria bloom. I didn't know that. I was like, what's going on? Then I had water all over the floor. So every time something happened, it was always something new and different. I was like, oh my gosh, my sump is leaking. So
sounds like the tank gave you a whole series of videos.
Oh, pretty much.
No, it's good. And it's fun to like share, you know, when new things happen that are fun and positive. But yeah, definitely you get a lot of information out of YouTube when things go wrong.
Yes.
So are you surprised with what has happened with your YouTube channel as far as the people you've met, some of the videos that you put out that you go, you know what, like, I just want to do this video, but all of a sudden it blows up and gets 71,000 views, that sort of thing?
Or I worked so hard on this video when it's like my pride and joy and nobody likes it. I'm like, wait, this, and I try to change the thumbnail, like, look at this way, you know, no. So yeah, I never know why. Like I made one, my bearded dragon one was probably my largest. It's a tiled floor tank versus a bioactive enclosure.
Yep.
Most of my enclosures are bioactive, basically because I'm lazy and I like it so that they can clean themselves. But that one just took off, and it was the same thing. It wasn't that I was an expert doing it. I'm learning about here's the differences. Which one would I go with? What would you go with? And it just hit like 74,000. It's like, what? But for me, it was like, do you ever like want to learn a language or want to learn how to play the piano? Well, now it's like this whole new world. It's not just fish keeping. It was, how do you operate a camera? Like, how do you edit film? Like, how do you, blah, blah. So it was like, and I love learning. So it was just so many things to like try to understand. It's like, this is pretty cool.
I remember you did a video, and Scott, thank you for the super chats and thanks for dropping in. He's heading off.
Bye, Scott.
Appreciated. Can we have a link to Suzy's channel? Yes. Then Ginger,
oh, hey,
are you able to put a link for Q Aquatics for this?
Thank you.
You did a video about 6 months ago on how you make videos, and I found it so intriguing. It was really good to watch as someone that makes videos, how you go about it. And I was almost taking notes on the side going, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. Like, as in, I didn't think about those. I can't remember the program that you use, but I never heard. I think Otter Creek had mentioned it before, but it was the first time I saw it. So you have a program that helps you with your titles and tags.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
Morning Fame. Morningfa.me. Morning Fame. And what it does is it looks at, like, if I was a big channel that had a lot of leverage and I came up with this title, they would tell me about where it would rank. If I do that with my channel, that's like, you're going to get like 120 views, and it's pretty close. But if I change the name a little bit, fix the thumbnail, then it says, oh, now you're going to get this. And if I include certain tags, and so I usually do that when I think of what I want to do. And it's not like thinking of something like, what am I have to do today? That's what my video is going to be on. Then I'll go in there and do that before I even shoot the film. Because sometimes it's, on the care of versus, oh, how long do they live? Like, depending on how it works out.
Yes. No, I know exactly what you mean. Thank you, Pam. Punchy Paints has put a link in there.
Pam.
There you go. Melissa's found it. And anyone else who hasn't seen Suzy's channel, jump over and check it out. You won't be disappointed. Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit lately. I've made about 100 videos, and I've started to realize, if you try and do like what a big YouTuber would do and say, I don't know, amazing aquascape or something like that. You're like, I want to see an amazing aquascape. I'd click on that. You're like, yeah, but all these amazing channels with millions of followers have done amazing aquascapes, and yours is down on the 10th page.
Yeah.
And you go, that's why that didn't work. So to have that point of difference or describe what you're trying to describe in a different manner seems to be the method to the madness. But still, every video you learn, don't you?
Yes. And the first 2 years, I did 2 videos a week like it was a job. Like I was dedicated to do 2. It was like Tuesdays tanks and freshwater Fridays. And then it went from Tuesdays tanks to saltwater Sundays, and then Tuesday tanks back to freshwater Fridays again. And no matter what, I did 2 videos a week, and it felt like a job. It was grinding, and I did not even make it to like 100 subscribers. Didn't matter. I just kept doing it no matter what, whether I was tired, whether I didn't feel like it. I just kept grinding away. And now I've backed off a little bit. When I started doing lives, preparing for a live is almost as hard as doing a video. It was like, oh my gosh.
That's one thing. Like, I am not a super knowledgeable fish keeper or anything. Like, I can probably help with an opinion, but I'm not necessarily going to be the best method to whatever the question may be. Yeah. And I don't want to come across in front of an audience like I'm telling people how they should do something when I myself want to hear what they are saying. So I actually don't have topics when I go live. I know a lot of people do, but I like the social aspect of just sitting down, nerding out about fish with people that are like-minded, and yet discussing these things. So you and I are just having a casual sort of chat now, but at the end of it, I will have learned 3 or 4 things and got a few new ideas, and I like that we can inspire each other, I suppose.
Yep. I love it.
So when did you start doing the Sunday night lives?
Wow, it was maybe a year ago. I know I had worked over 2 years at just videos before, and I was petrified to go live because when I shoot a film, a video, it could be like 4 hours worth of footage, and it turns out like a 5-minute. Everything is cut because I say incorrect things. I'm not always politically correct. You know, sometimes like I'm like wearing the wrong shirt. I'm like, ooh, I can't wear that on YouTube, or like it's a constant, or I forget. Because like you, like I am not an expert, never professed to be. I can tell you my experience and what worked and what didn't. And that I don't even have to think about because that's it. Sometimes I try to do videos where I have to research and just reiterate what I just learned. But I make sure I tell people, here's what I'm learning. Like, just like you, it was like, yeah. And I guess I started, I was so scared. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. I thought I was going to throw up before the live. It was a tremendous, a lot of pressure like on me. But I did it and I liked it. And it was great. I think I had like 12 people and I thought, this is great. And everyone was so positive. And then the next week I did it. I had like 2 people show up. I pretended I had to leave after 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, my granddaughter's here. I got to go. Click. I was just so awkward. Now it's so great because now I've learned to a lot of the people who are in the community and talk to people and it's fun.
How long ago is this?
Last year.
Yeah, I'm thinking I was there at the start because I remember, you saying you were really nervous, but that you got a lot of energy out of it. And I'd sort of one thing I thought about a little bit with Pam. I'm always an angel when I go live. I'm peaceful, Aqua, too shy to go live over here and scared. Well, that's actually one of the things, doing like my first videos and then putting them out there and then going live and just trying all these different things. If you're scared or you're nervous or you feel shy about it, that's an awesome thing because it means that you care. So that's one thing I noticed, that like I was really nervous. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And let's just do it. Just go live. And then at the end you go, oh, that was awesome. Like you get like an adrenaline rush going, I did it. I did something I was nervous about doing. And that's really great because if you're describing it that way, and here we are a year on and you're doing weekly lives.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely, I look forward to Sunday nights, even when I'm like down in the dumps. Because you never know what's going to happen Sunday. Like Sunday night comes around, I'm still, me. And it could be like a horrible weekend and blah, blah, blah. And after my live, I feel like refreshed.
Yep.
So I really, really enjoy it.
No, I can relate. I think we do a Sunday morning one, which is Saturday night your time. Do that with
do it like really late, like way after my bedtime, I think.
I don't know what time it is. I think it's
9 o'clock.
It would only be 9 o'clock Saturday night.
Yeah, that's yes. Already in bed.
All right, we're going to go now. We're keeping Suzy up, as I know. But yeah, we started doing that every week and doing it with Dr. Black and Thirsty Rabbit, and
now
you guys
Blake's are hysterical. Oh my God.
Well, that's the thing, is like we can discuss these things. Usually I just sort of try and run a conversation, see what they're up to and what's been going on. Sometimes they're like, yeah, no, not much. And I'm like, oh, okay, what are we going to talk about? But we moved that to be a fortnightly event, or bi-weekly. I know you guys don't say fortnight over there, do you? That's
pretty cool that you just said it, though. I want to say it, but I don't know if I could say it correctly.
It sounds British to us, but then you guys go, what's that mean?
I know it's a video game, right? Fortnite?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And that means every other week?
Effectively, yes. So, well, how do you say it? Bi-weekly?
well, because I'm in human resources and we have payroll that's either biweekly or semi-monthly. But now I'm going to say, oh, our payroll's turning to fortnight. No, I don't know if
I haven't heard that one semi-monthly.
Yes, and sometimes it's like twice a month, no matter what, and other times payroll goes every other week, no matter what. So very different pay schedules.
Lefty got the stickers today. That's awesome.
Oh,
No, I haven't
awesome.
seen your Instagram, but I will. I'll have to check it out. Chevy Fish, Jess Shrimp Granny. Long time no see.
Wow. Hey, Jess.
Scott's Aquatics. How are we? Sorry, now I'm just gone thrown back to semi-monthly. But yeah, that was the other thing. The only thing that sort of I found as a bit of a negative about it was doing it so often. I felt like it was because I do it sort of in the middle of the day. It takes away from family time and that sort of thing. So that's why I sort of cut back. Whereas this series has been a lot of fun. This seems to be the only time slot that seems to work for the Australian and American audiences and guests.
Oh, nice.
But it's also been really open. I started it maybe 6 months ago. And you are the 12th guest.
Yeah.
So it's sort of just was one episode 1 month, and then there was 2 or 3 episodes the next month. So, and I kind of like that too. It's not always on the same time, so it doesn't feel like a chore. It just feels like, yes, I get to have a chat with Suzy. And like next week, we have an Australian aquascape artist who won first prize at the Underwater Pet Expo.
I saw that. Wow.
Down here. So that's going to be exciting too.
Wow.
Fish Tank Barn, how are you? Keeping fish simple.
Oh, there's Mike.
Never heard of anyone identifying as bi-weekly. Me either. So you've got a bit of Fish Fam art behind you there.
I do. I got stuff from Multi-Tank Addictions.
Yeah,
I've got stuff from Rack. And I've got stuff from, I want to say his name is Sam's. I got that at my aquarium auction, and I absolutely love it. And apparently he's a famous fish artist, Scales.
Ah.
Yes, and it's beautiful. I've got I think it's a biahe, but I'm not sure. They're definitely cichlids, and then the discus. So I love it. And now I am I was going to say laid back. It's really lazy. And I never put anything in frames or anything like that. But you know what? These things inspired me so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put them up and have a fish wall. And I have my 120-gallon freshwater tank here and my 74 boat front saltwater here. I figured this is perfect. So before it got nice out, I didn't do streams by my pond. Like when it was cold and raining and hurricaning, I did it from in here. And I rotated. Sometimes I did it in here. Sometimes I did it in my reptile den. Sometimes I did it in my fish room. And then I couldn't wait to do it Sunday by the pond.
I love that. I do love that. Melissa, yes, Jag is coming in for a chat next week. I think I might be getting something from Rack in the mail as well. And I've got some Scunge Princess up there as well. Okay. So that's really cool. That's another thing you don't think about, having a community that show you, different views of their art becoming actual art.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
I
love our
I have a few people that like to troll me a little bit because I only got this tank maybe a month ago, and I used to sit here and there was never a fish tank around, and everyone's like, do you even own fish? And I've got like 5 fish tanks right here. That's where the light's coming from. Yeah. That's funny. I wish one day that I would have a backdrop as beautiful as your pond. Tell us a bit about the pond, so how it all sort of came about and the stories behind it.
Well, 2 years ago, and because I obsessively watch YouTube now, I saw this pond guy putting a hose out and then digging out. I'm like, well, I could do that. How great would that be? Then I can have outside fish. I could have koi. I could have turtles. So I started digging. I got about 8 inches down. It's like 20 foot by 10 foot. And I had it. Like, that was the extent. That I was like, I can't do this. And then my kids came home from work and they just grabbed shovels and finished it out. And now, oh my gosh, they went down like 3 feet. And then I've got 4 shelves. And right before we put the liner on, they said, well, you're going to want to go bigger next year. So before we put the liner on, we just dug bigger. And I absolutely loved it. And my bridge was a garbage pick. So one of my daughter's friends, a playground was being torn down. So they brought the bridge over. I was like, this is great. I supported it underneath with 2x4s. And I'm like, painted it.
And it's come up a treat. I remember you telling the story about finding that. So in Australia, we call it hard rubbish.
Okay.
So like leaves it out and going, I don't want this anymore. Someone pick it up.
Yep.
And then you found it, and it just seems to be like meant for that pond, doesn't it?
Oh, I love it. Yes. Because everybody just walks across that and they stand there and look, there's the deep end, there's a shallow end. That's where the waterfall is.
That's awesome. Did you know that koi are illegal where I live?
Oh no. Are they?
No. I would love a koi pond one day. But I think they're seen as an invasive species over here. But there are I think it's just Victoria and South Australia. So 2 of the 7 states, they're illegal. Everywhere else, I don't think they're illegal. You can have them in all the other states.
Oh. Well, I know you don't export like anything, but do you allow imports?
Yes. Well, yeah, but mainly from like the Philippines, Indonesia, and that sort of thing. Thirsty Rabbit's got he's got a lot of the South American cichlids. There's never like a big South American or Central American, I'm not sure. But there's never like a big selection. African cichlids, they are just, they're pretty easy to breed.
Yeah.
Especially the Malawis. So there's lots of people over here that breed them. One of my favorite channels, Perth Cichlids.
Okay, yeah.
He had like 120 tubs and tanks set up just breeding Africans. Really good quality and stuff. But I think he sort of stopped. Oh, Queensland, they're illegal as well. Okay. Thanks, Total Tropicals. I think he said, though, that the market just sort of got flooded with it. And then all of a sudden it's too hard to sell Malawi cichlids because everyone's got them.
Right, yeah.
But funnily enough, it's not. I mean, you can go into a local fish store and you will find Australian native fish, but not a lot.
Right.
So, as someone that was growing up interested in the hobby, but wasn't like immersed, like there was no YouTube when I got into the hobby and that sort of thing. I'm not an avid reader, so that might be one of the reasons it went against me. But I never used to think that Australia had any decent fish. I always thought about, like fish from the Amazon and Indonesia, all your tetras not so much Indonesia, sorry. All your tetras, your discus, your angels, your mollies, your live bearers, all that was sort of the common thing. But then to sort of delve into it and learn about pseudomogals and rainbow fish and stuff.
Oh,
and you go,
wow, yeah.
It's from Australia? Like,
yeah.
And then I go, well, yeah, but they're all up north because it's much more tropical up there.
Okay.
But then to find out that there are rainbow fish probably about 40-minute drive that way, for me to go, hang on, I could go and try and find these and not take them out of the wild and keep them, but go and sort of experience their natural habitat has sort of blown me away. So there's a group down here called ANGFA. Is that it? Australian New Guinea Fish Association. I think that's it. And they do some tours and stuff, so you can sort of join in with the club and learn a bit about that side of things. So
that sounds so interesting.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to get involved in that. And I think it's handy because I know Blake's Aquatics is involved or wants to get involved more. So I'll know someone. That's one thing you and Scott talk about, your fish clubs and stuff.
Oh.
And it's so, I don't know why, but you just feel like it's intimidating. Like you go, I want to go in there, but then are these people going to be like preachy and tell me,
trust me,
that's not what you do and all that sort of stuff?
That's exactly what I was feeling.
Yeah, and you're worried, am I getting into a whole bunch of politics here? But Tell
Well,
me
I
about
don't
it, because
fish
you guys seem to
so
love it.
that's good. But I think I was watching YouTube and doing fish for about a year and a half when I heard, I don't know if you know Michael's Fish Room. He just happened to say, "Oh, this is the best auction in the world. This is Bucks County Community Aquarium Society." And I'm like, I live in Bucks County. I mean, there's people like, to me, it was like Fish Fam in person. But of course, I had an anxiety attack going there because thinking, oh my God, these people, and I know I'm not a big, don't know anything about fish and blah, blah, blah. They made me feel so welcome. It wasn't even funny right from day one. And there's a bunch of fish nerds everywhere at every different level. And it was just so amazing. And then there's people that actually go out and collect them. And there's other people that came to talk that had their name like attached to a fish. It was like, wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is unbelievable. And then other people that go and teach communities in other countries how to catch fish so that they keep making more fish instead of just destroying the land. It's like, what? I was like, oh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just making it more sustainable for everyone. Sorry, GRB said Murray River rainbow fish, and here we go. Melon, those fish and other rainbow fish are local to Aqua, mate.
Yep.
That is another thing that I am, as try as I might, I don't think I'll ever be able to do all the.
But I'm telling you, just keep doing it and act like it's right. Trust me, hardly anybody knows it's different. I caught that from Rachel O'Leary. She just knows them and says them with such confidence.
Oh,
so I do it, and I know during my live stream, they're like, that's not how you say that. I'm like, oh, wow.
Rachel is one that I love. I watched a lot of Rachel before. She was one of the reasons that I went, all right, I'm going to, I can do that. I've got a couple of fish tanks. I can film this and put it up on YouTube.
Let me tell you, there's not a lot of women fish keepers that I was finding back then. I mean, KG Tropical's wife, I'd seen Lisa do a couple videos, and I was like, wow, there are women who keep fish. This is so cool. And then I saw Rachel, but it was like there, and then I saw Simply Better, but there were so few and far between. And a lot of the hobbies that I'm in are like male dominated, and I get very old very fast. I love to play Texas Hold'em poker, mostly males. I love to go motorcycle riding, all a bunch of dudes. I love to go shoot guns. Every time I go to the range, it's all dudes. It's like, I just want, it's like, be a normal girl.
There's a group, isn't there, of, I can't remember, Liz, I can't remember, Femme Fish or something. I can't remember what it was.
We're doing a hashtag, Fish Femmes, yeah.
Fish Femme, that's what it was, yes. No, it's cool too. Like, it was funny, one of the sort of larger YouTubers down here, he just keeps growing and growing and growing, is Sam Parker from Parker's Reef. So he's a saltwater channel. Mm-hmm. And he shared a little thing. Oh, sorry. I think someone else shared it, and then he responded, having a look at the Google Analytics, saying that 2% of their audience is female. Yeah. And you're like, wow. And I wonder, like, if that would be a lot different for you, being female, presenting, whether it changes for you guys as well.
Well, there's not a lot of 60-year-old females doing YouTube, FishTube. That's for sure. So it's tough.
I don't want to assume ages.
Well, I celebrate my birthday. I'm very transparent about a lot of things. I don't like, so much easier for me than try to keep secrets.
Yeah, true. And now you're famous, people will find out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, our community, I find that is so unique as far as YouTube goes, because there's other communities that are very like backbiting and very petty, where the fish community seems to be like so tight knit. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. And all inclusive, male, female, young, old. It's fantastic.
Now I've met a lot of female fish keepers, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yes. I was just looking here. We've got Science Gal, Aquatics, Crystals, Pets and Plants, Jess Shrimp Granny. I know Pam's here. So, yes, it's a good range of.
Isn't that great?
It's fantastic.
And the president of my aquarium society, Callie Parker, is a female.
That's cool.
It is way cool.
I spoke to, like, again, like having all these different people. There's a I don't want to say kid, don't want to be disrespectful, but I think he's only 17 or 18 now. Max S, who lives in my city. And he's like, Aquamate, you should come out to one of the auctions. And I was like, yeah, I should. He's like, oh, there's one this month. And I'm like, yeah, I will. And no, didn't do it. And then eventually I was like, I've got to do this. So I went along and met Max. I was like, hey, really weird meeting someone from YouTube land in person. And just sat there. And the auction was meant to go for 2 hours. After 2 hours, they weren't even a quarter of the way through all the stuff.
Wow. I love those.
And I thought it's going to be, this sort of pretentious sort of everyone stands still, no one's talking, no one's socializing, just like, oh, that fish, yes, yep. But everyone was socializing. I think there was a couple local businesses showing their product as well to everybody that was there. There was a bar. You could get food.
That's awesome.
This is crazy.
Have you gone back there since?
No, well, they do it every, I don't know, I think every few months or every 6 months maybe. But that was all, there's probably meant to be one in the last couple of months, but with all this COVID stuff.
I call that house arrest, yeah.
House arrest, yes. I know. It's very, I think it's very different here to over there now, but I don't know. There's 52 states in there, so I don't know if one's affected or one's not.
Right. It seems like the 3 or 4 that are surrounding where I live in Pennsylvania, New York, yes. New Jersey, they all jump on the same bandwagon. So we're all like restrictive, where I see the rest of the country is all like going back to the, you better watch it. See. She waited till the end at least. That was nice.
She's done very well. So what's news? What's coming up on the channel over the next few weeks? What can we look forward to? So
the video I'm working on now, because I feel like I get so much stress relief from my fish. I wanted to do a video on how we can give our fish some stress relief. So I'm doing 10 things that you can relieve the stress from your fish. So it's fun because it's making me think outside the box. It's making me look a little deeper, and I like it.
That is good. I just
finished another turtle pond because I have like 23 turtles, but the 2 that are huge decided to fight with each other. So I had to impromptu make a whole nother pond that's at least 2 feet deep, 6 feet wide, and build a fence around. Oh my gosh. But I did. So
I would love to visit the Q Zoo one day.
Oh that sounds like it would be awesome.
Be something going on in every corner.
Yep, there is.
Just so we spoke about the bird ages before, how old can all your turtles live?
Oh, they're going to outlive me, especially my tortoises. I have 6 tortoises, 3 different species. And my daughters are already like in my will, who's taken the bird, who's taken this tortoise. Because I got 2 sulcata tortoises. They're going to get about that big. I've got Russian tortoises. I got a cherry head tortoise. Oh my gosh. Out of all the reptiles, I think my blue tongue skink and tortoises and turtles are my favorite. And you got blue tongue skinks in your backyard, don't you?
Yeah. I found a couple. They didn't have a pulse because my dogs found them before I did.
Ooh.
Which is a bit upsetting. Yeah. My son really wants a lizard. He wants a blue tongue or some form of lizard. So I did a video with him 2-3 months ago, and what do you call it? We call it hard rubbish. Whatever, I can't remember what you called it.
Trash picking.
Trash picking. We went for a walk and we looked at each other like there's a tank over there, and my wife's just I'm like, if that's there when we come back, and it was still there.
Yeah.
And she's, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. So me and Harry grabbed the tank and we took it back, and I found these really cool 3D backgrounds, and anyway, we set up a tank for him, and he's got a few mollies and
Aw,
swordtails and
that's
some
awesome.
danios in his little tank. And I said, you look after them properly for a year. So you feed them, turn the light on and off, and we do a water change every 2 weeks. Then maybe we can get you a lizard after a year. He's fed them twice in 3 months. So he's not doing very well.
Oh, dang. How old is he?
7.
He's age appropriate. Yeah. So one of my favorite lizards also is the Uromastyx. They're so sweet.
What are they called?
Uromastyx. It's kind of similar to a bearded dragon. And they're Nigerian, and they have yellow ones and orange ones and ornate ones, but their temperament is very similar to a bearded dragon. Like it'll just chill out and do whatever you're doing with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We do have I think it's a bearded dragon. My neighbor across the road has one. So Harry goes over and he's like, can I hold your lizard?
You have them running around, don't you? You're in Australia. See, I don't know anything about Australia, but I think you got everything running around.
It's funny you say that because I can't remember how it came up. I was talking to Aqua, and I had to send him a video and said I think it was actually on this series, talking to Aqua about, he's like, I just think it's like a desert over there and all these things are everywhere, like he's saying. So I said, here, send him a video of a place that I went to a couple months ago. And he's like, I didn't realize how green it is and everything that's over there. Where I live, it's probably, you'd go, this isn't Australia. What's all this? There's gum trees everywhere. That's a given. But there's no deserts. I don't know. It's just pretty. Actually, last week I mixed things up a little bit because I went away with a family and I did the Sunday or the Saturday night Suzy Q bedtime stream.
Yeah.
And we were down at the beach. That was probably the most Australian sort of scenic thing that might sort of translate to being what you guys would think of Australia. But as far as kangaroos, there's a town like 5 minutes that way called Kangaroo Ground, and funnily enough, you always see kangaroos there.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
We see echidnas. Sometimes you just see them crossing the road.
What are they?
Echidnas. Haven't seen an echidna? Here we go. Let's play with this thing over here. Yes, one sec. I'll get a picture of an echidna.
Echidna.
I can spell it. All right, where are we? Screen share. Application. That's us, and that's an echidna.
Oh my gosh, it looks like a porcupine.
Yes, they're a lot smaller. Maybe the size of like a large rabbit.
Okay.
And they eat ants with that little nose there.
Oh.
And yeah, they have those really, I don't know what what do you call them? The spiky things are made out of. But yeah, we see them crossing the road every now and then.
Okay, you wouldn't want to pick one of those up. Oh no.
Well, funnily enough, I have actually picked one up because he was around a blind corner. So cars are coming down doing like, well, let's just say 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
Go around the corner and there's this little echidna crossing, and I went, he's going to get hit. So pulled over, walked over, and then just picked him up from underneath and just moved him off to the side of the road because I thought, got to look after the little guy.
We do that with turtles because they'll be roadkill real fast, and you're not allowed to take them home. You're not allowed to turn them around. You can pick them up and take them to the same direction that they were heading.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happens if you turn them around?
They will turn around and go back in the street because either they're laying eggs or going back to where they came from. So if you try to turn around thinking they're safe here and they were headed there, they have a very good internal compass. Like the eastern box turtle will live the rest of his life trying to find his way back home if you take him out of the wild. It's just torturous. That's why they say, you don't take Eastern, and not all turtles have that internal compass like the Eastern box, but they'll constantly try to get back home.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dan Slee says, they're egg layers too. The echidnas are egg layers.
Oh, okay.
Egg laying mammal.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, there's some weird creatures down here. Yeah, we found koalas when we went camping. We always find them.
Do you have possums?
Possums, yes. So you see the brush-tailed possum a lot, which isn't a native Australian. I saw one. A friend of mine hit one with a car, but hit it in the head. Like didn't squash it, but hit it hard enough in the head that it sort of like knocked it out, and then it was bleeding from its nose. And so I picked it up, put it in a box, took it to the vet, and they went, "Yeah, it's a brushy. We're not going to do anything with it. They're a pest." And I was like, "That's not cool." But ringtail possums are native to Australia. I find all that stuff like interesting. People ask a lot of questions of when we talk about the different animals in Australia. But then you feel like when I try and do a video on it or something, it doesn't really rate well. Maybe it's the way that I'm wording it. But there is a place 10 minutes from me. Like I'm 50, 60 kilometers from the city. So not really country, but not suburbs either. And there's a place near me called Hillsville Sanctuary. Ooh. And it's just Australian native animals like fish, snakes, reptiles.
Wow, I would love to see that. But you're right. Being a fish channel, and even though I have everything, when I do anything other than fish, it does not do well. Because I'm not a pet tuber. I don't have the pet tube community.
Yes.
But because my people like me anyway, they tolerate whatever I do. Like I'll do an update on Sophie, or I'll show my reptiles, my turtles, and
they tolerate whatever you'll do.
Yeah.
Sheps Aquatics is asking, do you have an invite code for Morning Fame? Is that a thing, is it?
It is. I got mine from Brian. Oh, he's a YouTuber that teaches you how to do YouTube. Brian Johnson. But I don't have one. I don't know how to get one. But yes, you do have to. I forgot about that. Oh, thank you. You do. He gave an invite for anybody who was on his channel, and I signed up, and I love how it like helps. But I guess a lot of people can use like TubeBuddy and all these other ways to do the same thing. I am very lazy. Well, I think I said that like 5 times tonight. But I can put all this up there, the keywords up there, my thumbnail, like it just saves it. So then I can make my video, and when it goes time, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. It's not like done.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things that if you just sit down for an hour and sort it out, it will be easier. Therefore, but who's got that hour? I don't have that hour now.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
I'll just close that door.
That's funny.
Was there anything that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I think we've been talking about everything I just love talking about. I love talking about Australia. I love talking about the animals that you have, the fish that you have. Like, I would love to. What was that guy's name? Crikey. He wrestled alligators, and he passed away from a stingray.
The crocodile. Oh.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Yes.
I would love to see like what you have in your backyard when you go to that kangaroo thing. I just would love to see all those kind of things. And I know for you, it's probably not going to help your channel at all, but it would help me. Oh, look at the cutie. Hi.
Speaking of kangaroos.
How great is that?
We actually went to, I can't remember, it's near Noosa, yeah. We went to his zoo. So he had a zoo that he ran up in Queensland.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think it's called the Australia Zoo. And his son and daughter are still running the zoo. And his wife, who's American, she's still running the zoo there as well. So we went there with him, and yeah, the size of the crocodiles and
oh my god,
crazy. Yeah, Liz, I think you're right. Hillsville Sanctuary is probably worth a look. I did have a lot of fun doing a video going to the Great Barrier Reef. So we all went out there, and he was hilarious. Like, I mean, he was 6 years old, but all of a sudden, little 6-year-old with a little bit of attitude and wants to do what he wants to do. As soon as you put him in the water, he's just like a little toddler again, like, oh God, oh my God.
Oh my God, I love that.
That was a lot of fun. And we're actually meant to be up there last month and doing exactly the same thing. And I would have been releasing a video on doing that now. Again, it didn't do that well, which is funny because after we went to the reef, I went and played golf. And I didn't mean to film anything at the golf, but I thought, you know what? There's a sign over here saying, watch out for crocs.
Oh.
So I'm like, I'll show people that, you got to watch out for crocs when you play golf in Queensland. And hit the ball, went over the hole, went to go get the ball, and there's a crocodile just sitting right next to my ball. I'm like,
no way.
Yeah,
you can have it. You can keep it.
Yeah. So I put that in the video as well. And I said the Great Barrier Reef and a monster on the golf course. So maybe that's why I didn't. But we also went to Cairns Aquarium with him and saw, it was amazing actually. I expected it to be all saltwater, but the first room was all freshwater. And you're like, oh yeah, they'll do a little freshwater thing. But it kept going and going, just all the fresh
nice, isn't it?
They had a tank full of what I thought were honey blue eyes, but they were actually Pacific blue eyes. They had hundreds of them and a big moray eel.
Wow.
With hundreds of these fish. And it was incredible.
I love the aquarium.
I haven't been. Have you got one near you?
I do. That's the Camden Aquarium is near me.
Have you done a video?
Not too near me, but near me enough.
Have you done a video there?
I did. My very first live, it lasted 15 seconds. I was like, hi guys, I'm live. And then when people started talking, I just hung up. But because you know that whole thing. But no, I didn't do a video then because that was before I was making videos. I just wanted to go to the aquarium with my granddaughter, blah, blah. So now if I went, I would absolutely like.
Well, what if we make a challenge? You do a video there and I'll do a video of Hillsville.
Oh, I love it. And
then that way we'll both keep each other honest and go, yes, I'm going to do that because
I like that.
That'd be fun. All right. Well, I know it's past your bedtime now.
It is. I know. I let the cat out of the bag. Even after drinking a cup of coffee, I'm like,
you're all comfy and cozy.
Yep.
Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a blast. It sort of just flew by.
It did fly by. And
we have heaps of cool people here. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool to sort of touch on that, male, female hobby that's for everybody. And then to have it backed up by looking over to the chat and seeing exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, look at that. There's Crystal. Yep. Jess.
Yep.
A lot of women. Zen. Oh, thank you, Zen.
Yeah, there we go. If anybody doesn't know Q Aquatics, you do now. Jump over and subscribe. Congratulations again on 3,000 subscribers.
Wow, yes, thank you.
So well deserved.
Thank you. And this was so much fun. I so appreciate you inviting me. This is cool.
That was good. I appreciate you accepting the invite. All right, everybody, stay safe. If it's nighttime, have a good night. If it's the start of the day, like it is for me, make sure you have a good day. Footy's back. All excited about football. Sport happening again. But thank you. We will be catching up with a aquascape artist next week, Jag Singh, who won first prize at the Underwater Pet Expo. Think Aqua Shella of America. Underwater Pet Expo is our sort of version. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope to see you all there soon. And we'll catch up with Suzy on Sunday night, your time, Monday morning, our time.
Yep, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks, everybody.